Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. It was just a prank, written by Space Paladin 15. Earth had not seemed particularly sophisticated in terms of their technology, and yet unprecedented multi-platform hack had been tracked back to these galactic newcomers. It had left the Galactic Council scratching their heads in confusion. Were our analysis reports wrong, perhaps the humans had been concealing their technology. Either way, the cyber attack of this scale was tantamount to an act of war. Certain hot-headed senators were already suggesting a retaliatory strike. Who would have the resources and the coordination needed to execute a digital takeover on this level other than the Terran government? Well, it was a logical argument. We decided to give them the opportunity to explain themselves first. Ambassador Kowalski arrived shortly after our summons, demanding his presence. There were not many individuals in the room, just myself and the members of the Senate Securities and Commerce Committee. As a chief investigator on the case, I knew that I would be the one asking the questions. The senators were just there to listen and, well, make it seem like they were doing their jobs. This incident had made us all look quite incompetent, to be embarrassed so thoroughly by a race that was barely spacefaring. I was a seasoned officer of the law with nearly 43 years in the cybercrimes unit out of my belt. Rising through the ranks of the investigative office took persistence and dedication, and there sure had been some wild cases. The time that group of radical anarchists took down the government servers came to mind. Tracking them down had been no easy feat. But that event, which had been galaxy-wide news, paled in comparison to the present situation. The targets that had been hit by the unknown Terran entity ranged from civilian message boards to news blogs to government sites. We needed answers, and we needed them now. I approached the ambassador and fixed him with a menacing scowl. "Would you care to explain why your people launched a cyber attack against us today?" Ambassador Kowalski appeared genuinely troubled by my hostile demeanor. I'm sorry. What? This must be some kind of misunderstanding. The Terran government has not taken any such actions against you. I have no idea what you're talking about. Well then, let me enlighten you. I swiped through a few holograms on my touchpad and projected a newscast onto the hearing room's view screen. Various popular internet websites are under siege today in what is already being referred to as the largest data breach in the Council's history. The origin of the attack has been tracked back to the planet Earth. Experts have noted the strange nature of the attacks, which they believe to be some form of Terran psychological warfare. Read the Shazili anchor. Now cybersecurity expert Ulan Marcus gives us his take on the unfolding incident. The footage pivoted to clips of the hacked Senate website, overlaid by Ulan's voiceover. You can see that all pages on the site now direct to this picture of a strange green animal with very wide eyes. Honestly, I can't begin to guess what it means. Then, of course, you have the Stellar News, where all of the writers were unable to access their accounts. One story was uploaded after the hack, titled, "How to Make Your Holodesk Run Faster." It provides a step-by-step process on how to delete process spin, with a long and patiently false rationale for why it works. To be clear, you should not do this, as those are the files that generate visual output. And the other most prominent target was Thoughtly, the largest social media network. Only celebrities and government officials were locked out of their accounts, but the average person could access the platform as usual. The hacked public figures sent out various thoughts, declaring how sad it was that their stars were about to explode, leading to mass panic. This is what led us to realize that this was likely some twisted form of psychological warfare. I paused the video, turning to study the ambassador's reaction. Human expressions were a bit difficult to judge, but he seemed as though he was trying not to laugh. "Is there something you find funny, Ambassador?" He stopped smiling. Not at all. I apologize. I know who's behind this, and I assure you, it's not the Terran government. If it is not the Terran government, then please, who could it be? I demanded. Trolls? The word did not translate through my implant, but the program did inform me that the ambassador's tone was dismissive. How could he be so nonchalant over a group that had wreaked such havoc? Who are these trolls? Are they a rogue faction? I wouldn't give them that much credit. A troll is a broad term that applies to anyone who tries to annoy or confuse people on the internet. They're usually not affiliated with any organization. My confusion only intensified from his explanation. He was suggesting that random civilians had coordinated this attack to annoy us. It made zero sense, yet nothing in his cadence indicated deception. Ambassador, you seem very dismissive of these people. You are not worried by them, even after an assault such as this? I asked. We've been dealing with trolls on Earth for a long time. Our first FTL starship, we had an internet poll to choose a name for it, and a bunch of trolls brigaded the results to have the Death Star word. And there was that time that we got into military databases so that they could send pizzas to Area 53. The ambassador paused, noticing a blank look on my face. Well, I have no idea how they did this, but I'm sure it's something so dumb that it works. Humans are bizarre. I took a deep breath to refocus my thoughts. We need to get to the bottom of this. Can you identify the people who did this? Bringing them to justice is our top priority. Ambassador Kowalski nodded. Yeah, give us some time and we'll find them. Within a few hours, the Terran embassy sent over a dossier on the suspect that they had identified. According to their intelligence agencies, there was only a single culprit behind this plot, a boy named Adam Parker, who was 19 years old. This couldn't possibly be the work of one human who was barely an adult, could it? But I decided to talk to him for myself before rejecting their findings. Ambassador Kowalski arrived, escorting the suspect. Adam was avoiding my gaze, staring at his shoes as he was ushered into the room. This is our troll. How did you find him so quickly? I asked. The ambassador smirked. It was easy. He wasn't even using a VPN. I had no idea what that meant, but decided against asking for the sake of my sanity. How exactly did this kid hack into so many important, highly secured sites by himself? Kowalski gave the boy a sideways glance. Go on, tell them what you told us. Adam sighed. There was no hacking, just social engineering. I messaged someone with admin access on each site saying that I was a new developer, and I had accidentally deleted my copy of the password information. That I couldn't remember it, and I didn't want to look bad in front of the boss on my first week. I just asked if they'd help me out and send me new admin info, and all of them did. You're telling me that people just gave you access? I could hardly believe my ears. I'd never heard of such tactics, and then you used it to frighten and inconvenience an entire galaxy? He shook his head. I'm sorry. I didn't think you guys would be this upset. I thought that it would be some harmless fun, that's all. This whole thing, calling it a cyber attack and psychological warfare it's a stretch. It was just a prank, bro. End of story. Story number 2. You Can't Catch Me, written by Terran Mikus. The race. That's all there is for us. Speed and distance. The time it takes to get from point A to point B. It is no wonder that we were the first race to discover faster than light travel. It was through going faster than we had ever gone before, faster than anyone had gone before, that we discovered the others. the slow ones. Species after species we found. Disappointment after disappointment. None of them had the drive. None of them had the means to move as fast as we did, to race, until we found you. At a dead sprint, you are no match for us. The distance you can travel in a week, a month, pitiful. But you can keep going. Over 10 years, you can cover the ground that we can reach in 20. There is a story of yours about a mammal racing a reptile that creates striking parallels to real life. We found that you honor the fastest, the Farlaps and the Mackay Divas, the Schumachers, the Thorpes and the Bolts. Your stories tell of heroes that could travel faster still, of Hermes, of Barry Allen, who could move at speeds that our cutting-edge drives could barely fathom. We had found another like us. You were not a slow one. You were fast. You were competition. The race was beautiful. Our rivalry continues to grow. Champion after champion we best. But there is one that we are still falling behind. His fans' taunts are almost too much to bear. They haunt my every resting moment. No, I've never raced him myself. There are so few of my kind that have. One day, I'll beat him. One day, that horrible chant will lose all meaning. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Why are you laughing? End of story. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I'd just like to give a quick thanks to the T5 channel members and patrons: Alithia, Parky, Fudic Yol, Meridian117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Angry Marine, Lord Azrakal, and White Van 420.